Hello people, welcome to your lesson. Today we are going to page 88, lesson 6, okay? Let's repeat the new content. A doorbell, to disturb, a disturbance, a childminder, a basement, a cellar, an attic, pastry, to pick out, to pick at, a pinch, to pinch, naughty, a trapdoor, laughter, a tablecloth, a deck chair, a hammock, to shield, a shield, to sway, to swing, a swing, to ring, to babysit, a babysitter. Very good. Guys, a doorbell is a bell operated by a button, and this button is often next to a house's door. Okay, so we press the button to let the people in the house know that we have arrived. Okay? To disturb. Guys, to disturb can mean to interrupt something that was being done. To disturb can also mean to cause someone to be worried or upset, or to move things from their original place or from their right place. Okay? Disturbance is the noun. Disturbance is something that interrupts you, okay? Or a disturbance can also describe something that is violent, or to describe trouble, okay? A childminder is a profession, and the person who is a childminder takes care of other people's children while they are at work. Okay? Normally a childminder works in their own homes. Okay? A basement, a cellar, or an attic, they are all parts of a house. They are not very common in Brazil. Okay? But a basement is a part that is under the house, normally underground, okay? A cellar is also a room under the ground, okay? And usually we use a cellar is normally closed, and we use a cellar normally to store things, okay? We can also use a basement to store things, but in some cases, in the basement, we can build a room, a TV room, for example, a leisure room, or even a small apartment for people to sleep in there, okay? An attic is the top part of a house, under the roof, okay? We also normally use an attic to store things. Sorry. Pastry. Guys, pastry is a type of food. It's made of a mixture of flour, fat, and water. Okay? We normally roll it flat, or we put around things around other food to be fried or to be baked. For example, pie. Okay? The base of the pie is made of pastry, okay? The outside of the pie is made of pastry. Pastry can also mean all the types of sweet food that are baked, okay? For example, sweet bread, we can call it pastry, okay? And we can fill it in with sometimes with sweet cream or with fruit. Okay? To pick out means to choose. to choose one. To pick at is when we eat only small amounts of food. So we don't have a good appetite, so we just pick at the food. We don't eat all of it. We just eat small amounts of food. Okay? Normally is because you don't feel any enjoyment or interest in eating that food. So we just pick at food. Okay? A pinch. Guys, a pinch is to press someone's skin between our fingers, like this. To pinch. Okay? It normally hurts a little bit. But a pinch can also be from the sense of using two fingers. When we are cooking, sometimes the cook says, oh, put in a pinch of salt. A pinch of salt is the quantity of salt, the amount of salt that fits between your fingers. A pinch of salt. Okay? Naughty. Guys, naughty has two meanings. They are similar but not quite. Naughty, when children are naughty, it means that they are behaving badly, okay? And they do not do what we have asked them to do, okay? So bad behavior in children, naughty. But naughty can also mean something that involves or suggests something sexual. Okay? A trap door. Guys, a trap door is a door either on the floor or on the ceiling, okay, that leads to the attic or to the basement. Okay, it's normally a door that we can't see right away. Laughter. Laughter is the act or the sound of laughing. Okay? A tablecloth, I'm sorry, a tablecloth is a large piece of cloth, a large piece of fabric that covers the table during the meal. Okay? A deck chair. A deck chair, guys, is a type of chair that we can fold, okay, together. And we normally found deck chairs on exterior areas of a house or especially at the beach. Okay? It's a chair that we can fold and carry easily. A hammock. A hammock is a type of bed, okay? It's actually a big piece of cloth that we hang on one wall, on the other wall, okay? And we can lay inside it, okay? It normally does this movement. It swings a little bit, okay? To shield, a shield. To shield is the verb, a shield is the noun, okay? To shield is a synonym for to protect, okay? To shield, to protect something. A shield is normally, in the past, a big piece of metal, okay, that soldiers carried in front of them to protect them from enemy attack, okay? Nowadays, the police, the elite police, they also have shields, but nowadays they are normally made of plastic, of very hard plastic, okay? It helps them protect the vital parts of the body and the face, okay? To sway. To sway, guys, means to move slowly from side to side, but slowly, okay? It can also mean to cause movement or to cause change on something. Or it can also mean to persuade somebody to believe or do one thing rather than another, okay? To change somebody else's mind. To swing. To swing means to move easily and without interruption. backwards and forwards, okay? From one side to the other, to swing, so to swing backwards and forwards, to one side to the other, especially when we're talking about a fixed point, or to cause something to do this movement. For example, in playgrounds, we have the swing. Okay, children love the swing. It's a little chair. They sit on the chair and they move backwards and forwards. Okay? To swing can also mean to move an object or your fist in an attempt to hit something or someone. For example, in boxing. Okay? The movement of trying to hit your opponent is a swing. To swing can mean to change, simply to change. To swing can mean to be exciting or enjoyable. To swing can also mean to play music in a strong, exciting style, like jazz. Okay? Swing in the 30s was a type of dance, so it comes from the rhythm swing, okay? To swing can also mean to arrange for something to happen by persuading people, but it means that we are persuading people normally using slightly dishonest ways, okay? Okay, a swing, the noun. It can mean sideways movements, that means movements to the sides. A swing, an attempt to hit someone. A change. A seat, this one is from the playground, okay? A seat, a small chair, joined by 2 ropes. And normally they have a metal or a wooden bar, okay? And you can sit and move backwards and forwards. And a swing is a type of dance that was popular in the 30s and 40s, in the decades of 30s and 40s, okay? To ring. To ring can mean to make a phone call to someone. To ring can mean to make the sound of a bell. For example, at the door of a house, when we press the button, we are ringing the doorbell. Or to ring can mean to surround something, to be around something. To babysit. To babysit means to take care of someone's child, but normally when the parents are out. So to babysit is the verb, a babysitter is the person, okay? And normally when we use this verb, when the person goes to the child's home. It's different from childminder. Remember, a childminder takes care of their other people's children in their own houses, okay? A babysitter goes to the client, goes to the person's house, to the child's house, to take care of the child, okay? Very good. We have new idioms here, guys. To ring a bell means to sound familiar. So when you hear something and you say, oh, this reminds me of something, you can say, oh, this rings a bell. Okay? Take something with a pinch of salt. To not completely believe something that you were told because you think it's unlikely to be true. Okay? When you hear something that you believe it's not true because it's unbelievable sometimes, we can say, oh, I take this with a pinch of salt. I'm not pretty sure this is true. Okay? Let's repeat, guys. The doorbell rang and she climbed down from the attic through the trapdoor to answer it. They wanted a childminder to help them pick up the kids twice a week from school. She took a tablecloth and a hammock into the garden to make a picnic. She wants to lay the foot on the tablecloth on the floor and then relax by swinging in the hammock. The naughty little boy picked at the sugary apples in the pastry whilst listening to the laughter of the adults from the next room. The mother swayed her child in a sling as she shielded him from the midday sunshine. On TV last night, the chef spoke about adding only a pinch of salt because the fish was already quite salty. The police were called out last night because of the disturbance at the hotel. He kept all his wine in his cellar, so it was shielded from the light and the heat. The knight ran across the field with his sword and shield in order to reach a safe place. The babysitter turned down the volume on TV in order to not disturb the children with the program's laughter. Let's practice. Don't forget to pause the video, okay, before I answer the question. Why do people ring doorbells? People ring doorbells because they need to tell the people inside the building, that they have arrived. Where did Anne Frank hide during the Second World War in Amsterdam? And why? Anne Frank hid in an attic during the Second World War in Amsterdam because she was Jewish and the Nazis wanted to send her and her family to a concentration camp. What did Julia decide to do in order to raise money for her trip? Julia decided to offer to babysit her neighbor's children in order to raise money for her trip. If I told you that I had won the lottery and was moving to the Caribbean, would you take this information with a pinch of salt? Yes, if you told me that you had won the lottery and was moving to the Caribbean, I would take this information with a pinch of salt. When might someone use a deck chair? Someone might use a deck chair on the beach or in a park. Do many people use umbrellas, hats, and sunglasses in order to shield their faces from the sun? Yes, many people use umbrellas, hats, and sunglasses in order to shield their faces from the sun. Were you a naughty child when you were younger? No, I wasn't a naughty child when I was younger. Is it easy for you to pick out your clothes in the morning? Yes, it's easy for me to pick out my clothes in the morning. Who normally uses a shield in historic films? Knights normally use shields in historic films. Does Mary want to be a childminder in the USA in order to practice her English? Yes, Mary wants to be a childminder in the USA in order to practice her English. When people are not very hungry, do they pick at their food? Yes, when people are not very hungry, they pick at her food. At their food, If you won the lottery, would you need to pinch yourself the next day in order to know if it was real or not? Yes, if I won the lottery, I would need to pinch myself the next day in order to know if it was real or not. Who rang the doorbell 3 times? Why? Ryan rang the doorbell 3 times because he really needed to speak to his friend. Does the name Hermione ring a bell? Ring you a bell? Yes, the name Hermione rings me a bell. I think I know it from the Harry Potter series of films and books. Is a cellar upstairs or downstairs? What might a person keep in a cellar? A cellar is downstairs, in the basement of a house. A person might keep wine, furniture, and other objects that they are not using at the moment there. Why do people use a tablecloth? People use a tablecloth because they want to protect their table or because it makes the table look more beautiful. Do we need to make pastry when we are making a pie? Yes, we need to make pastry when we are making a pie. What do people do in a hammock? People normally swing, read, and relax in a hammock. What did Rebecca ask the man who had arrived at the party? Rebecca asked the man who had arrived at the party if her babysitting him as a baby rang any bells. Did you used to swing in a swing when you were a child? Yes, I used to swing in a swing when I was a child. Who had Michael ring before the fireman arrived? Michael had rung the emergency services before the fireman arrived. Why did Paul lose his temper with the babysitter? Paul lost his temper with the babysitter because she had eaten all the food in the fridge and ignored the baby crying all night. Is it common when we hear and see laughter for us to smile and laugh too? Yes, it's common when we hear and see laughter for us to smile and laugh too. If I asked your class to pick out your favorite music, do you think everyone would agree with each other? No. If you asked our class to pick out our favorite music, I don't think everyone would agree with each other. Does the present simple tense rule ring any bells with you? Yes, the present simple tense rule rings a bell with me. Have you ever had to babysit your little brother or sister when your parents weren't home? No, I've never had to babysit my little sister when my parents weren't home. What did the naughty girl do to her friend at school yesterday? The naughty girl pinched her friend at school yesterday. What type of disturbance might make it difficult for you to hear the teacher? The type of disturbance that might make it difficult for me to hear the teacher would be another class doing a lot of noise, or street noises, the trucks passing by the school. Should we take what politicians say with a pinch of salt? Yes, we should take what politicians say with a pinch of salt. What did Allison do in order to hide from the burglar? Allison ran upstairs and climbed through the trapdoor into the attic in order to hide from the burglar. Is it common for North American houses to have a basement? Yes, it's common for North American houses to have a basement. Very nice, guys. This was today's new content. See you next lesson. Bye-bye.